Your travel plans could get more complicated because of the rising number of COVID cases right now and this summer. And here's a big difference from previous years. You may have more trouble getting all of your money back if you test positive. Just take a look at Airbnb. It recently announced it's dropping cancellation exceptions for COVID. That's starting May 31st, which means a host's original rules will apply. CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg is here with how to navigate COVID concerns while you travel. Peter, good morning. There are a lot of COVID concerns, and a lot of it has to do with these cancellations, which people sometimes buy insurance for thinking they're doing good by themselves. What's the story with travel insurance?
Well, I love the concept of travel insurance. It's the execution where you have a problem. And during the last 2.5 years, it was the largest number of complaints from travelers, because if you make your reservations online, and so many people do, you cannot finish the transaction unless you either opt in or opt out of the insurance. And most people with the best of intentions starting in 2019 picked the option to go in.
I always opt out.
Well, you did the right thing, but,
because
they did it, but they had no idea what they were covered for, and worse, they had no idea what they were not covered for. And then, of course, the pandemic hits, their trip gets canceled, they go to use their insurance, and they find out that, let's say, somewhere on the website of the insurance company, which was never displayed on the website when they made the reservation, was a paragraph that said, oh, by the way, we don't cover from pandemic, bye-bye. So millions of dollars were lost, and basically, people were out their money.
Wow.
They bought worthless insurance, and they didn't get the cancellation fee.
So is there a good time to buy it? But I'm a person, I don't buy the warranty. If I'm renting a car, I don't get the extra whatever that comes with that. But are there times that you actually should get the insurance?
Absolutely, but you need to know how to get it and where to get it from. Don't buy it online. Don't buy it from the travel provider themselves, because many of them self-insure. So if they go out of business, so does your insurance. You go through a third party. Go to a travel agent, a travel advisor. They can walk you through the hieroglyphics of that policy language so you know what the exclusions are, because every policy has an exclusion. There are age exclusions. There are pre-existing medical exclusions. There are even destination exclusions. If the United States government says it's a level 4, don't go, your vacation to Syria will not be covered. So you have, you get the concept. The point is, go through that route and you'll be protected. Now, the cost of that is about 6 to 10% of the cost of your trip, and then it's worth it, as long as you know what you're covered for as well as what you're not covered for.
Tony mentioned COVID and how it complicates travel, maybe not as much as it used to. Most countries don't require tests anymore. The U.S. does, but it's a bit complicated. What do you need to tell travelers about COVID tests and traveling?
Well, the good news is most countries have gotten rid of the requirement for testing if you can show proof of vaccination. So you get to go in without that.
Gotcha.
There are no quarantine rules anymore as long as you prove vaccination. The problem is getting back home. Right now, the U.S. still has a rule in place that you still have to show a negative COVID test within 24 hours of your return flight to be able to come back to the United States. Other countries have dropped that. There's a huge move on to get the United States to drop it, too, for reciprocity reasons.
Doesn't matter where you go.
Well, this is actually key. I would point out,
you've got to get it.
You got to get it.
You got to get back in. The people that review it, though, are the airline employees. It's not a public health authority. And one thing I would just point out from that graphic, it says 24 hours. It's 1 calendar day.
Right.
So if you're flying late in the day and you think,
people get confused about that, too.
It's important. You have more flexibility than you think. It's 1 calendar day from your departure date.
Right. Now, there's another kind of insurance everybody really needs to have.
Okay.
And that's medical evacuation and repatriation insurance.
What's
Because your medical coverage in the United States doesn't cover you when you go overseas, your health insurance.
What is medical evacuation?
It means that if you get sick or injured overseas, in the best policies, they'll pay to get you stabilized over there. They'll consult with your own doctor who knows your medical history better than your own physician. And then, if needed, they will fly you back on a medically equipped jet to the doctor and medical facility of your choice.
So you're saying get that medical evacuation.
Because recently we've seen some actual deaths at resorts. When people were traveling on vacation.
Right. Well, not just the deaths. I saw a guy in Cairo one day who decided to stupidly try to climb the pyramids. He fell down, broke his hip. He had to be taken home. He didn't have the insurance. They had to buy 4 first-class tickets to put the stretcher in, a 5th first-class ticket for the nurse they required to have with him. His airfare costs alone were $87,000.
Whoa.
So you need to get that insurance.
That view is priceless, though. I would have been that guy, I got to say. I relate.
And you
Cost your
test
arm and
positive,
leg, literally.
and you're trying to get back in, you test positive. How long do you have to stay in that country?
Well, the good news is there are insurance policies now, the market's adjusting, where you will get covered if you have to get tested positive, and they'll pay for your expenses while you're quarantined.
All right. Peter Greenberg, thank you. Always good advice and always good to see you.
You got it.